Hey, hi, how are you? My name's Phil. Welcome back to some Magic the Gathering Arena. Today we're being the bad guy again. I know, we're the bad guy a lot. Today we're being the bad guy by playing Nicol Bolas the Ravager. Nicol Bolas the Ravager is a pretty cool commander because, one, he's actually legal in Commander, meaning that this deck can be translated to paper in a pretty fun way. Two, he's one of those crazy creatures that they made a while ago that flips into a Planeswalker, which I always think is really cool. He's a 4-mana creature that makes your opponent discard, and you can flip him into an incredibly powerful Planeswalker that starts with 7 loyalty, that allows you to draw 2 cards, or deal 10 damage, or put target creature or Planeswalker from a graveyard onto the battlefield, or exile all but the bottom card of target player's library, either winning the game or losing the game for them on the spot. As for the rest of the deck, it's some pretty standard stuff. Lots and lots and lots of blue spells, as you're seeing through here. Lots of counter magic, lots of tempo, lots of counter spells. I said it twice, but that's because that's how many we run. Lots of destruction, and our win cons are basically through Nicol Bolas himself, Breach the Multiverse, and then stuff like Ugin, Sauron, and Liliana. We are using a lot of this stuff to just kind of make ourselves roll and vibe throughout the early game. Maybe use something like the One Ring to keep us going in the mid game. Crux of Fate, tons of targeted removal, Extinction Event, and we'll hopefully just crush our opponents in a timely manner. This deck is pretty high in the queue. You might not be in true hell queue, but in my testing I've already played commanders like Niv Mizzet, who are some pretty powerful stuff. So don't be surprised if the matchups are tough and grindy and long. You have to run good decks if you're running commanders like this, so let's hop right into things and see how Nicol Bolas does. We are going first, playing into Emrakul the Promised End. Does protection from instants mean that I can't counter it? That's one of those things that's only active when it's on the board, right? I don't know. Either way, I'm kind of confused as to why they're playing Emrakul. But I don't know enough about Magic the Gathering to know why they'd be playing Emrakul as their commander. Maybe they just have some really cool plays. We're going to play Lazotep to get a thing on the board, more than anything. Chromatic Lantern, get my mana rolling, so I can play Nicol Bolas. Experimental Augury will be saved for when I want to play Nicol Bolas. What you got, opponent? Discard something, baby! Environmental Sciences. Interesting. This is absolutely going to be a Culligan's Command, blowing up probably the Shadow Sphere and the Palladium Mirror. It will be filling up my opponent's graveyard, but yeah, my opponent's going to plus their Karn. This is one of those times where we want to make sure they do not get Mirrex. Mirrex is a very good land that will constantly make 1/1s I have to worry about. Could also blow up the Weatherlight. I do think target player discards a card. Kill the Palladium Mirror is my best play here. This way I get to almost kill Karn. Actually, I can kill Karn if I Experimental Augury in place of playing... You know, let's Experimental Augury in place of playing the other thing. Grab Crypt of the Eternals, because you can tap for anything with Chromatic Lantern. Kill the Karn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We can still hold up Wash Away, and I think we need to hold up Wash Away. Chaos Wand. Not what I expected. Let's... You know what? We're gonna flip Nicol Bolas and then just, like, steal their Karn. That sounds pretty good. I think we need to be on the beatdown plan here, right? My opponent's Emrakul is only 9 mana, but if we start the beatdown now, things will get out of hand very quickly. They can't start playing Chaos Wand and being able to steal my stuff. I guess that's their entire game plan, is just Chaos Wand me. But I run a lot of counterspells, and I think they just hit a Swan Song, which is literally impossible for them to cast. We now have Miscast and Wash Away as bonuses in the hand, and I think our opponent kinda can't win from here. We're going to make our stuff bigger by using Karn's Minus. We're going to draw 2 cards with Nicol Bolas, and probably just not hard lock our opponent out of the game, but give him a hard time. My opponent just constantly mousing over their own wand makes me think they're panicking about, oh crap, they play lots of counterspells. What if I only ever hit counterspells? I guess we'll also find out here in a second if protection from... we can counterspell this. We can also miscast it, because they only have one open mana, which makes it much, much easier for yours truly. Please enjoy. And they scoop. I admire the moxie of my opponent to be playing a Chaos Wand Emrakul deck where their win con is playing my cards, but... obviously that didn't end up working out for them. GG's though. We're going first with a pretty good hand into Atali. No, that's Essica, brain. That is Essica, God of the Tree. I don't know why I said Atali. I think I hovered over, saw green, my brain was like, yeah, that's Atali. Essica, God of the Tree, kind of a classic 5-color good stuff commander. I played the wrong land because I am, in fact, as the kids say, silly Billy. That's totally what they say, no one can tell me any different. We're playing Lazotep plating not to become hexproof, but to just be a problem child, and potentially use Experimental Augury to grow our problem child. Chromatic Lantern. They get to play it, but we're going to blow it up with Prismari Command, I think. Castle Vantress can come because we have a... one entire snowy boy. Just in case they somehow have a way to do the thing. We're just going to do that now while holding open 2 mana so that we can change the equation or Drown in the Lock. Drown in the Lock only hits 1-drops right now. Change the equation is much better, but you never know what shenanigans your opponent has in store. Speaking of shenanigans, say hi to Gonti! That's shenanigans incarnate. What you got? Ugin! Hello! You're looking lovely today. I will take a free Ugin. And my opponent's probably going to try and play their commander here. Looks like they don't have the right colors, though. They're missing white. Hi, Ugin. Your brother's here. He's happy. They only have one thing in graveyard, though, so change the equation ain't going to do great. Nissa. We can blow up the Nissa token if they just try and make a token. Yeah, that's a great use of the Drown in the Lock here. Because if I do that, now I can kill the Nissa with what I got on the board here. And just give him a bad time. And now hold up, change the equation, and Swan Song. Okay, my opponent will finally have the mana colors they need, but we still have changed the equation and Swan Song. More mana played on black. We can play Nicol Bolas now because we can still hold open all 3 of our mana to protect our Nicol Bolas. My opponent has to discard something here. It is a requirement as printed on the card. I feel like dropping a Narset might not have been, like, the greatest idea of all time there, but what do I know? We will counter red or green spell with mana value 6 or less. Fun fact, it is all colors, so it is a red or green spell. Other fun fact, we won the game because my opponent scooped. Because I was about to flip Nicol Bolas. And that's scary, I guess. Fun fact, I actually wasn't going to flip Nicol Bolas. Well, fun fact for me, not my opponent. I wasn't going to flip Nicol Bolas. I was going to play Ugin and just get tons of value off of Ugin. And if they ever tried to play it again, just use their Ugin to destroy one of their permanents. It was going to be great. For me, not my opponent. GG's, Essica. We're going first into Sauron the Dark Lord. Kind of don't like this hand into Sauron the Dark Lord. Don't like this hand either. Debatably playable. Sorry, Eldest Reborn. As much as I want to have it, I don't think it's the right play here. This is going to be such a tough matchup for yours truly because Sauron kind of plays the same way. So this is like a true, just like, matchup, and I am not gaining card advantage right now, which is really what I wish I could be doing. And whiffing a land drop is really, really bad. Alright, well, we hit another. That's good. We're only 1 land behind now, but we have Sinister Sabotage and Mystical Dispute available. I want to counter that. Thank you. Could I have Spell Pierced it to hold up Mystical Dispute? Yes, but they kind of do the same thing. Stern Scolding is good if they try and play Orcish Bowmaster. Or a Snapcaster Mage. Drown on the Lock is now online, being able to hit up to a 2-drop, which is pretty good. We are still being very unlucky over here. That might be a counter spell, but we have backup, so to speak. That's one of those cards that I kind of wish I had a copy of, but I don't like alchemy cards. Alright, this is fine. We'll get some extra black mana. We don't really need more than 1 red mana at a time. Now we have a Sabotage with, Do I want to counter the Mind Stone? I don't think I care. I think I need to let them have it because I have other more important things that I want to get out. That could be an extra turn spell as well, which is a little scary, but the way that they kept going for so much red mana, kind of weird. Kind of confusing. Still only got 2 things down there. The One Ring, wow. They have a counter spell. But they only have 2 things down there. I'm stuck. I need to just counterspell it. I don't have an option. They're going to counterspell my counterspell and then draw a bunch of cards, and then the game is over. No? I am shocked and appalled. What do they have foretold? That's got to be extra turns then, if they just let me counter the One Ring. There's no way in hell that is not an extra turn spell. Okay, on their end step. Target player discards a card, and I will destroy target artifact. All I have is a Spell Pierce, so it doesn't really matter. Blink of an eye! Oh no! Oh no, you tapped out! Oh no! Oh, darn. Oh well. They still have to discard a card. I could have Drowned in the Locked it, couldn't I? But now their graveyard is actually filled for Drown in the Lock. This might be better. Also, yes, I did miscount the mana because I'm just... Their mana sources look really weird. Mind Spike, stay out of my hand. They don't have any counterspells, absolutely. Oh, Archmage's Charm. Very good, very bad, both at the same time. 1, 2, 3... Alright, so this is going to be painfully obvious, but... We're just going to play Solemn. Like this, with some very specific tapping. We're getting there, we're getting there, we're slowly pulling it out. That's got to be an extra turn spell. We're grabbing an extra blue source, because we need a billion blue sources for our everything. If they just try and slam Sauron here, which might be their best play in mind, I'm okay with it, because I actually have a Drown, but they have so much stuff right now. They have a Golem's Bite in the graveyard. They have a Foretold card, and they have 5 cards in hand. Mayhem Devil, I kinda don't want you to have that, but I want to see what else they're playing first. I kinda want to see what else they're playing first. I don't quite know why a Sauron deck plays Mayhem Devil. And we will kill it on their end step, or attempt to kill it on their end step. Just to see what happens, just to see if they really don't have any counter magic here. This is very confusing. We can just play Nicol Bolas with Archmage's Charm backup, by the way. That's why we wanted to make sure to get the extra snow-covered island. If Nicol Bolas dies, that's okay. That is them burning a kill spell while also being forced to discard a spell here. Go for the throat is fine. Discarding Brotherhood's End is a little strange. We don't have anything to help us kill Sauron. But we can just hard counter it because they just played it out for some reason, and then we get to replay Nicol Bolas, hit their hand again, which is nice, with technical power word kill backup, hit their hand again, which is nice, and then be able to flip Nicol Bolas and get carded Banish soon. Assuming my opponent doesn't have another kill spell, which they probably do, knowing my luck. It's a Sauron deck. Sauron is like Nicol Bolas, and that 99% of what you are doing is just counter spells and kill spells. And stuff like Brotherhood's End. And a Meat Hook Massacre. Why would they drop a Meat Hook Massacre? That kills my board state. Do they have another board wipe? No, they just have a Black Market Connections? And a Burgie. Well, we kill the Burgie, obviously. Burgie gives them tons of free mana. Now we flip Nicol Bolas because we have the power. We work on our card advantage engine over here. Unfortunately, we still don't get around Sauron's ward, but my opponent will get card advantage like crazy here. We could steal their Burgie, we could steal their Mayhem Devil, or we could steal their Snapcaster Mage. Wow. Hey, remember when I called like 5 years ago that that was an extra turn spell? Yeah, it's an extra turn spell. I want to point out that was a most of their life and like 12 mana Explore. I don't know why they're playing Piece Together in a deck that literally can only run one copy of a spell, but okay. Interesting. My opponent is really low on life in general. Did they just mill a Pact? Bro, what? Why are you milling a Pact? They're painfully low on life, unless they had like a Shieldred or something. I think they're in like big trouble over there. Yeah, we still have Nicol Bolas for massive card advantage. 2 cards per turn minimum. Key to the Archive's a little annoying, but if they don't hit an extra turn spell, we're mostly fine. And even if they do, we might still be fine. They're tapped out at the moment. I'm not exactly scared. Draw 2 cards.
I know what must be done.
Feed the Swarm to blow up. You know what? Let's do this the easy way. Ravenous Chupacabratch. Blow up Rona. Feed the Swarm. Blow up one of the 3/2s. Celestis. Chill. And we're going to be able to use the Make Disappear to possibly counter something. It can be hard to pay 4 mana for something in general, and we're kind of okay with just vibing here. My opponent's down to 7 life. They can play Sauron here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 mana. 10 mana. Wow! They literally die unless they gain life. They got a Lightning Helix, by the way. Hilarious fun fact, we can sack the thing so they don't gain life anymore. Doesn't really matter, but I think that's why they're going so crazy hard, is they think that they can kill me here because they got an extra turn out of their Lightning Helix. Taking away their target is an incredibly dangerous but potent move that will probably end up with my opponent dying unless they have a way to kill off their own Black Market Connections. Yeah, there it is. I'm saying they have to have a way. They have to have a way, otherwise they are dead. Nicol Bolas will continue to grant me card advantage here. They passed on attacking for some reason. I am literally empty-handed. I don't know what they're so scared of. Dissipate? Lovely. Draw 2 cards. Hurtai. Tyrant's Scorn is okay. I think it is worth keeping. This is 2 counter spells and a removal spell. We'll probably eventually find our way back into this game. My opponent's got to start hitting my Nicol Bolas. It's soon going to get to be able to -12. I don't know what they're so scared of. It's kind of weird. I also don't know why they, like, over and over and over again paid the full 6 for Black Market Connections. That's what confused me. They didn't need to. They didn't need a board presence. They had the 2 birds that were chump blockers. Like, they didn't need, like, anything of what they were doing there. It was very confusing. Alright, take 1 real block. Destroy target creature with mana value 3 or less. Flash in Zietai. They get a card, but I don't mind. Because we still have the Dissipate to help ourselves along the way here. Keeping our Nicol Bolas nice and strong and healthy. And Signet's kind of a bad draw, but whatever. Fable is not something I want to allow, so goodbye. They can play Sauron. I think they have the mana now. Is my opponent just giving up? Because they die now. I don't know if my opponent didn't think that through or just got frustrated. That was a really good game. That was a really close back and forth game. Honest to God, making their lightning helix not heal them, I think kind of pushed it over the edge in my favor. I think making it so that they just didn't have a lightning helix was really, really good. Yeah, this is one of those reasons that I just like stopped running as many extra turn spells in my deck. 9 times out of 10, it's like a 7-mana explore. I got to draw an extra card and play an extra land and made 2 birds. Wow. It works really well in storm off big mana decks, but it does have problems in decks like Grixis sometimes. But either way, GG's opponent, really good game. Don't know why you gave up. You probably could have... maybe they just didn't have anything in hand. Maybe they just didn't have anything and they knew that they were dead. I'm now realizing that they'd swung in with everything and that was a desperation play. I guess I should have realized that it was a desperation play and just not blocked. Huh. I don't know. Whatever. On to the next. Opponent goes first. Ravager. Kind of want to keep this because Thoughtseize might just like hard disrupt them. And Ravager is pretty expensive. Yeah, let's get rid of that Thalia, shall we? That is sack a creature, destroy a creature. We will just kind of slowly mana ramp our way to our Celestis, and then probably just play Nicol Bolas, honestly. They only have 1 card down there. Drown in the Lock can't counter. I mean, like, they could Pacifism, but it's just attack or block, meaning that Nicol Bolas can still transform. Let's just play Nicol Bolas and make him discard something. It seems pretty good to me. But like I said, the pacifism doesn't really bother me. It's a Nicol Bolas the Ravager. Especially when I think we can just play like Ugin the Ineffable. They dropped Flowering the White Tree? Why did they do that? That's such a good card. I would have just dropped Pacifism. Or like the Lash of the Balrog. What on earth? Is my opponent okay? Luris, okay, everything checks out again. I was about to say, like, what on earth are you doing? Fun fact, Wash Away hits that. No, no, no! No, no, no! I have to, I'm sorry. Ugin! Ugin's a pretty cool cat.
Presence alone will guide you towards
We have a 50-50 on whether or not that's a good idea. What a good draw. Oh my god. Thank you, Ugin the Ineffable. Ugin, one who cannot be effed. If I were them, I might pacify the spirit token, but I don't know if they know that I get the card back. That's one of those weird interactions where, like, yes, pacifying Nicol Bolas is good, but Nicol Bolas can just flip into a planeswalker and cause problems. Flowering of the White Tree is not a bad idea. Oh, well, if we just double block, everything's a-okay. Ugin lives. Nicol Bolas back to the command zone, Crux of Fate in hand if my opponent tries to play some stuff. Feeling pretty confident and comfortable. Crux of Fate will keep me under control. Make a little guy. Just a little bud guy.
secrets manifest before.
Oh, I guess also play Nicol Bolas. What do I get for free? Show me.
You can't. Oh no, all your filth is gone.
Kind of wish I'd been able to play that, but they have Ward. That's a little frustrating, but I can't do anything about it. I kind of hope my opponent just, like, plays a bunch of stuff here. Does that destroy planeswalkers? No, it's just creatures. Neither of my planeswalkers die to what they're doing right now, thankfully. Unless they have another way to pump their team. And also, from looking at their hand, they don't have, like, Boromir or something to go infinite yet. Technically speaking, Boromir does go infinite, but they don't really get anything out of it yet. That's the weird part. If they play Thalia, we might just Crux of Fate just to kind of hard reset the board here. Destroying all non-dragon creatures. That does also give me my Archmage's Charm back, which is pretty cool. Why is my opponent, like, constantly touching their flowering the white tree? Like, that's very confusing, opponent. I kind of want to plus Ugin here to get another card before I Crux. Just in case. Unfortunately, we do kind of have to Crux of Fate this board state. Alright, that guarantees us being able to cast it. We didn't actually have double black, that wasn't a thing yet. Destroy all non-dragon creatures. I will take my cards back into my hand now. It's lovely. We will steal cards from my opponent. Adeline! What a cool card! Man, it sure would have been great if my opponent had an Adeline, huh? We can also, okay. Let's go find something cool. Hall of the Storm Giants is cool. Don't quite know why they're doing that. To get Frodo out, I guess. The One Ring is 2 cheaper, so I have protection from everything. Oh, wait, no, because of Elishnorn I don't. Right. Weird stuff. Counterspell's good. I just kind of want to commit crime. Oh, I stole their Infinity Wincon. That's it, into the battlefield effect. They have 3 things down there. This is also an into the battlefield effect, but it's just a body. I'm just kind of waiting, holding off, and vibing. If my opponent plays the Rotted Dropic, I'm obviously going to do my best to kill it before I do anything else. Use Ugin, use Nicol Bolas. I honestly could be plussing Nicol Bolas to make my opponent lose their entire hand each turn, but that's not fun. You know what's fun? Crime. Wait, hang on, that sounds bad, doesn't it? What? No, why are you leaving? No, wait, it was such a close game. I totally wasn't gonna win on this upcoming turn. I was gonna win on this upcoming turn. Okay, so for context, the best my opponent can do is swing Elishnorn. Or, like, they can't even upgrade Frodo. And because it's not a ring bearer yet, it doesn't do anything. So the best they can do is, like, maybe Lash of Balrog, but it doesn't tempt them with a ring, so that doesn't do anything. Like, the best they can do is, like, start swinging with Elishnorn, but, like, I have chump blockers for days. I have their own creatures to chump block with that have Death Touch on them, right? So I'm just gonna keep stealing stuff, or just exile each non-land permanent your opponent controls with Nicol Bolas, flip my other Nicol Bolas, and use I'm just gonna use my collection of dragons to win. All right, let's just say it like that. GG's, I guess. On to the next. Opponent goes first, playing Shieldred the Apocalypse. I am concerned with his hand. I think I have to mully. This is not much better, but I need snowlands, and snow duels are fine for the most part. I do wish that snowlands weren't slow lands all the way down. Even if they do get a turn 2 Shieldred here by having the Dark Ritual, it's mostly fine. Why am I doing it like this? I want to kill Shieldred on curve. That is not a Shieldred. Okay. Don't know why I've seen a lot of people play Priest of Haunted Edge here. I get to draw a card too. Thanks, opponent. Yeah, no, that trigger already left the train station, buddy. Technically speaking, attacking doesn't do anything yet. If we draw another land, I still can't play Celestis. I think the play is to draw 2, discard 2, and blow up their Mind Stone. Which sounds weird, but it means that they can't play... Wow, this is bad. It means that they can't play Shieldred next turn. I am drawing my deck super fast, and my opponent is still outpacing me terribly. They're hitting lands, and I am not. Such is life. Opponent, buddy, the trigger's already gone on the stack. You can't, unless you are in blue, you kind of can't counter said trigger. That's good. 5 damage to target creature or planeswalker is really nice. I would freaking kill to draw a motherfucking land, though. Okay. Bye, Skitherix. We're just gonna get rid of you. I am flabbergasted at the lack of lands in my top whatever. On the plus side, it looks like my opponent is also not drawing lands. On the downside, I don't think I can get rid of Underworld Dreams no matter how hard I try. My opponent is absolutely tutoring up their instant win combo, which is Peer into the Abyss, but I have 2 ways of countering it, so I'm not exactly scared. We can also just play Narset here, and slowly beat them down if they try and draw too many cards. I actually kind of don't want to play Narset, I kind of just want to play Skyclave Relic here. Yeah, it's fine. I don't think they'll have 2 ways of killing me instantly, so I think just doing this is fine. And then we just have Sinister Sabotage for if they try and peer into the Abyss me. Which is typically how a Shieldred deck wants to win the game. Anyways, we do still have Swan Song, no matter what they do with, like, peer into the Abyss. We do still have 2 counter spells to take them out. No. I don't really think I want you to play that, opponent. Kill spell? Thanks for the free card. I do take some damage, but that's kind of okay because we're technically winning the life race right now. Otawara is lovely, so we can... So if they did peer into the Abyss us, we can bounce their Underworld Dreams with Otawara. We can still play Narset as well to cut off their card draw.
If you wish to surrender, hone your
and Kolaghan's Command. Lovely. What a good card. Oh, man. We are cooking. Yeah, if they just try and peer into the Abyss me because they hit enough mana, we just bounce Underworld Dreams and all of a sudden I have drawn half my deck with no downside. Blood on the Snow to destroy all planeswalkers. What if I just like bounced it back to my hand and you did literally nothing with your Blood on the Snow? I guess they got their priest back. Yeah, we can just play Nicol Bolas here. This is fine. Make him discard some stuff. We don't have a counterspell for Shieldred herself, but we do have a Hero's Downfall for her. No reason to swing in yet. So they're gonna pay 2 life to draw a card? I think because they just want their Priest of Haunted Edge as a ring bearer, so they can draw a discard. Peer into the Abyss. I have a counterspell. Crux of Fate. Destroy all non-dragon creatures. Opponent. Hey, opponent. Hey, buddy. I'm sorry to tell you this. Nicol Bolas the Ravager. Legendary creature, Elder Dragon. Yeah. Yeah, he's a dragon. I don't know how to break this to you. Other than just to, like, tell you he's a dragon. But that doesn't... I'm doing a bit. I've done that before. Crux of Fading, clicking the wrong thing. I've absolutely chosen, like, all dragons when there was no dragons on battlefield. It's a mistake. It happens from time to time. My opponent, I really don't know what they got with their tutor effect anymore. I really don't know what they Grim tutored for at this point in time. I could have sworn that it was going to be a Peer into the Abyss to kill me with Underworld Dreams, but they didn't. So I don't know. GG's, I guess. We are going first into Giada Font of Hope, which means that this hand is non-keepable. This hand is S tier. Keep. Stern Scolding with a Kolaghan's Command backup for later. Lovely. Alright, so the Kolaghan's Command isn't going to be played for a couple of turns, but that's still a really good thing to counter. They're probably going to be able... Yep, I saw that coming a mile away. I just had a feeling. That was literally a check to see if my opponent has any protection spells. On their upkeep, just to fuck with them. So they have to make the decision before they draw their card what they want to get rid of. Which you might think isn't that hard of a decision to make sometimes, but on your upkeep, you only have what you have. So if they're hoping to draw a land, and then they discard like their 3-drop, thinking that, oh, I'll totally draw a land, it's pretty rough out there. They could still have a protection spell in hand that was like a 2-mana protection spell that like I didn't account for. I don't know if there's many of those things, but could be my opponent is just roping me because they're mad that I played removal, removal, removal. I hate to break it to you, opponent. I am Nicol Bolas the Ravager. This is what Nicol Bolas the Ravager does in 1v1. I apologize. I'm going to assume they don't have a land drop and they're like either panicked or just aren't playing the game because they're mad that I blew up their Bishop Bullring, Speakers of the Heavens, and Giada. I've played Pioneer a fair amount. I do want to put out the video where I talk about my Pioneer deck that I'm planning on building still. It probably won't be out by the time this video comes out, but I'm not positive. We'll see. If it is out by then, well, you've already seen it. I'm making a Dimir control deck for Pioneer. Crafting it by hand. Looks like my opponent is, not here. And they didn't do anything, so we're just gonna play Nicol Bolas the Ravager to make them time out. You might think this is like a weird, crappy play of me, but, it's not. This is, the most efficient way to quickly get through this game. My opponent either DC'd or is AFK or closed the game in a rage when I killed their 3rd thing in their upkeep. And as a result of that, the fastest way to get out of a game like this is to pass priority to your opponent as fast as possible via some effect that allows you to look at their hand or some effect that makes them to make a decision, and Nicol Bolas forces them to discard a card, meaning that they basically have to be looking at their own hand right now and making a choice. So the game will be like, oh, you're not there. Let's run the rope, and boop. Are they there? I'm shocked that that didn't immediately make them lose the game. I guess we all find out new things every day. They'll probably lose here in a second, honestly. And if not, we will slowly beat them to death. Year by year, hour by hour, with Nicol Bolas the Ravager. This is your video reminder. Don't be like this person. Don't do it. I'm keeping this in just as a PSA, under the assumption that my opponent has either completely closed the game or is salty roping me. Just don't be like this. If you're upset with the way a game went, just concede the game. Save your opponent some time. If your game like hard freezes up and makes it so that you can't do anything, just restart it. The game will allow you to make the decision when you come back. You lose access to like all your emotes and stuff, but the game will allow you to make that decision again when you come back. But above all else, don't make your opponent sit there for 2 straight minutes uninterrupted. Did I have fun? No. Opponent goes first and is playing a Joda the Unifier. This hand doesn't really scream good Joda interaction. However, simultaneously does have removal and counter magic, and that's kind of hard to top into Joda. If we get enough mana, we'll eventually be able to play Shieldred. I'd say drawing the wrong color. If we get enough mana, we'll be able to play the Eldest Reborn. Is that better, game? Ah yes, Hajar, Loyal Bodyguard. The bane of every player's existence who's not playing it. Because as you can see, your opponent gets stuck with prio, and they have to remember to manually pass priority. Most opponents don't remember. They really don't. I hope my opponent's playing something like, yay! I'll say something that I can counterspell, because otherwise this hand was a really weird keep. Alright, so now that they're tapped out, they have no extra mana, we're going to absolutely feed the Swarm the Hajar, because oh my god, them holding priority with it constantly is going to drive me insane. Be gone! I'm astounded that they actually did the smart play there, considering they seemed to not realize that it was the thing holding up priority. Thought sneeze. Sneezing on your thoughts. Okay, Aragorn the Unifier, pretty rough. Urtai Resurrected, they don't have black mana. What? They can't play any of this. They literally can't play any of this, poor guy. Fibblethip is the closest to being cast. So as a result, we're going to take Fibblethip. They don't have blue mana, though. So we're just going to play our Nicol Bolas the Ravager and make my opponent discard a card. Did I need the shotgun that Seagate Reborn? No. Did I just realize it after the fact? Yes. Yeah, that's the problem of running 5-color decks without tons of mana fixing. Did I have fun? I was okay with it. That's the problem of keeping the knot of the... This was their only mana fixing, was the file of Galadriel. That's something you really need to keep in mind when playing as a, like, Joda. That if half of your game plan is depending on your artifact landing on board, and you're playing into something like a Grixis deck, be very, very careful. GG's. And that's Nicol Bolas the Ravager. You might notice that a lot of those games were either pretty quick, or not a lot happened for my opponent, outside of maybe that Sauron game. That's what really good Grixis decks can do in a 1v1. That's what really high-powered Grixis decks will do in a 1v1 scenario. They will control the pace of the game, they will rip away card advantage while constantly giving themselves card advantage, and overall just be a giant pain in the butt. And that's why I like playing Grixis sometimes. I will not deny Grixis is not my favorite flavor. I do love the Izzet inside of Grixis. That's why I always make sure to include some like personal favorite cards of mine, like Prismari Command is down here doing its best to live its Izzet life. I could have put Expressive Iteration in here, but this deck felt much more like it didn't need the card draw and needed more interaction, so I would do something like Siphon Insight instead to keep stealing cards. Personal preference, you could probably slot in Expressive Iteration. But yeah, this version kind of mostly plays like Dimir control. You can see that in the fact that there are very, very few red cards. There's a couple of Rakdos flavor picks, Kroxa, the Bedevil and Kolaghan's Command, but this is mostly Dimir controlling nonsense. That is really what makes Nicol Bolas shine the most, in my opinion, in the 1v1 that is Historic Brawl, and will quite often be the thing that gives you the most amount of wins the fastest. There are other really good cards that you could include in the deck. Stuff like Spiteful Banditry is a really big one that comes to mind, with its double red cost being essentially Meat Hook Massacre, but you get treasures instead of life. A very cool card. But that's Nicol Bolas. He's incredibly powerful if you build him in certain ways, and this is just one of the ways to build him. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and all that stuff. Deck list will be down in the description as per usual, and I hope to catch you in the next one.